Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 2 of the Second Caution, featured on the AssociatedWrestlingPress.com. Today's guest is probably one of the most famous people in all of the wrestling world right now, and that comes off a big win at Flow Pro 4. And our guest tonight is Jason Welch. Jason, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Eric.
All right, so we were talking earlier about the views that video has. You weren't aware. I was looking at the views, 239,000. So that is just impressive.
I had no idea. It's only been like less than a week too, so I don't know. Makes me really happy.
Yeah, that's all. Almost 250,000 views. No matter what we do for the rest of our lives combined, we'll never get that. So that just goes to show you the power of Flow, I guess. I didn't think they had the reach or that capability to reach that many people, but
yeah,
that's why they make the big bucks, right?
Definitely.
All right, so let's jump into a little bit of background information about yourself. 3-time California state champ. For those people who don't know, California is very uncommon. They only have one division. So you were the supreme leader in California for 3 years. Then you go to college, 3-time All-American, end up taking second in the NCAA tournament at Northwestern. Let's start there. Kid from California going to Chicago was very uncharacteristic, I would say. How did the recruiting process go with you, and how did you end up in Chicago?
So for me, the first thing that I did is I decided as a junior or so in high school that I was going to do a lot of my recruiting myself with my family, and being proactive about it all. So I didn't wait for coaches to start calling me. I started calling them. I started making decisions about what I wanted to get out of college, really before anyone could sink their teeth into me, I think, which was good. And the first decision that we made was, me and my family, was to go to the Big Ten and to that area because, love West Coast, love Pac-10, but I thought that if I really want to make this wrestling dream a life, a reality, that I need to get out to the Big Ten and to get into that real arena, which I still think is the prime college arena for NCAA wrestling. And then so once we solidified that, we did like a little tour day Midwest or tour day Big Ten, which was really fun. And when we drove just all around, we went to, I think we went to Minnesota, Michigan, and Northwestern, and Iowa State, and I want to think a couple other schools I can't remember, but we kind of did that little area, and it was just a really fun like family trip, and then also getting, of course, to see the schools and meet all the guys and stuff. And for me, things really clicked at Northwestern. It was just I really loved Michigan too. Ann Arbor was a really cool place. I enjoyed the coaches and the guys on the team, but Northwestern even more so. I just felt immediately like this is a place at home for me. These guys are like, I'm clicking, I'm friends with them already, and because it's, when you walk into a room or a place and it's like, I feel like a stranger here, like an outsider, and you walk into a place and it's like, hey, this guy who just shook my hand, this is my new best friend. Like,
yeah,
this is real. So, and I looked at the coaches and I thought these are people that the next 5 years are going to be huge for me as like a person, not just a wrestler. That these are people that will watch over me, make sure, I grow into the man that I want to be.
That's awesome. I remember my recruiting trip to Edinburgh. They took me, nothing against Edinburgh. So if there's any fans from Edinburgh listening, they took me to do laundry on my recruiting trip.
No.
Yes. And it was after Gregor Gillespie won the NCAA title. They took me to his house. He was on vacation, and they just showed me his room. That was it. That's all I did. And I was just like, I feel no connection to not a single person here, but he had a nice room. Yeah. So now, are you still at Northwestern? Are you still wrestling, coaching, helping out with the team?
Yeah, I'm still involved with Western heavily. That's like my main. So right now, kind of my deal is I'm training full time. I'm wrestling for Chicago Regional Training Center, Chicago RTC, which is essentially Northwestern. And also for Wrestling Prep, which is a club in California, in the Bay Area. And but I would say I spend 70% of my time in Chicago. And when I'm there, my primary focus is me in my training, but in that nature, I still help with the guys, and everything I do for myself is essentially with them. So definitely, maybe not officially on the coaching staff, but I'm in the room all the time, getting my stuff done, helping out the guys, especially some of the red shirts I've taken a liking to, seeing how they're, progressing and talented.
Yeah.
And doing that and trying to balance that with school. I'm doing a low residency program in Vermont at Bennington College. So I go for 10 days at the beginning of every semester, and then I do 5 months, basically long distance, sending packets back and forth with my teacher, get my MFA in creative writing.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I knew you were doing that, and I was gonna send you an email, but I was like, I don't need him critiquing my writing. So I just held off on it. So was it tough balancing out with Northwestern being such a prestigious academic school? Was it tough balancing the wrestling aspect of it with the academics?
Yeah, and it was tough, absolutely. And I think that because of that toughness and stuff that you kind of learn to start dealing with is the only reason I can do it now. I think without that prior undergraduate training of balancing a tough academic schedule and wrestling at the top level, that I wouldn't be able to do now. Again, competing internationally and also doing my masters, but it was kind of eye opening, to be honest. I struggled. There was a point where I wasn't doing very well, but I finished strong. And because in high school, I was smart enough to where I could get pretty decent, good grades. I'm like a B student, without trying per se.
Yeah.
I could just go ahead and hang out in class and then go do my sports. And then I came to Northwestern and I was like, hey, you actually have to be a student. This isn't any BS anymore. And I really took a liking to it, to be honest. I struggled. I floundered for a solid semester or two, and then I was like, I love school. This is so cool. Why didn't how did I not realize that this can be fun? Especially once I found my correct major and stuff. I was in comm for a while. I was in education, but once I started taking my English lit classes, I was like stoked. Like, what I'm just reading and writing all the time. Like, let's do this. So I think, I would get I got some bad grades in my intro classes that were just big lecture halls, and then I was doing really awesome, getting A's and high B's in my top level English lit classes. So once I kind of got focused and found out what I enjoyed and focused on that, it was good for me.
So this is a little off topic, but so after wrestling, because obviously that's what you're working towards now is Rio. But when you're done competing, are you looking to write books or what?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess the MFA in creative writing, it's my majors. I'm doing fiction and nonfiction, and that essentially is the bare minimum requirement to be a college professor. And then they usually want to be hey, you have your MFA and you publish, a couple of novels or short story collections is kind of the standard professor resume. So, I would love to be a professor. That's a dream job. I would love to stay involved with wrestling at maybe the club or college level, or I could see myself teaching high school English and being a coach there. I'm not sure exactly what's going to – I don't have such a specific goal, but I just know if I keep – wrestling, coaching, writing, and teaching, that those will form into something, whether it's at a certain level or whatnot. I'm definitely planning on publishing lots of books in the future. I'm hoping that maybe a collection of short stories or something of that nature, or a novel in the next 2 years. Kind of the idea of the MFA is you're supposed to finish ideally with a rough draft of something that you can start marketing to agents. So I'll be done with my MFA in a year and a half, and so I should have a rough draft done. I can be hey, New York agents, here's a little piece of me, let's sell it.
That's awesome. That's so crazy. I would do a children's book. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, totally.
I can't draw, but I can make some crazy stories up. Kids will believe anything. All right, so let's jump to your international wrestling life after college wrestling. Since it's fresh, let's talk about Flow Pro 4. Is it 4?
Yeah, it was fourth one. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that was in Wisconsin.
Yeah, it was in Wisconsin. It was in Aspen's hometown, so they have their club nearby, which is super amazing. We got to go. We had weigh-ins at the Aspen Wrestling Academy, and really cool place. Just professional, nice. And I will say that Flo and Aspen, they put on a great event. There was a lot of kids there. They structured it so that there was a kids event before and after, so the stands were full. we got paid on the spot. It was just like really well done.
Oh,
So
really?
I was really happy with it. Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't know you guys got paid for that. Well, I guess
Yeah.
but um, that's
Um,
I would love to do. So, is this something that you want to do again? I mean, because after seeing what you were able to do in the match,
mhm.
why would they not have you back? Would you like to go back?
Right. I mean, I'd love to. This is the first time that I've had the opportunity to compete in a kind of like more publicized and also like these private events like Flow Pro, Aegon, and those sort of things. And I think they're gaining some momentum. And it's just about trying to find the right sustainable structure and going with it. But I mean, I enjoy competing in it, and I feel like especially with like the mixture of rules that there isn't and we're not competing for like a cash purse per se. It's really just we're paid to show. So there isn't there isn't the same pressure to like win at the sake of being boring per se.
Right.
Like it's more important to get there like, hey, go wrestle hard and like entertain and try to make something of your performance. So I just found that kind of nature really really exciting. And I like the rule matchup. It's fun. I like everything about it. I'd love to do it again.
Yeah, and you wrestled Craig Baker, who was the former D2 NCAA champion, and we briefly touched on the 239,000 views.
Mhm.
So for those of you who haven't watched it, so it was a right side swing single, and you went to come up with it, and he got an underhook with the left hand, and you went overhook with your right.
Right,
correct?
yeah. So it
And
was like either like single leg that side or a double leg, either way, some kind of driving out where he kind of underhooked me and tried to jack me up, and I decided to go over with my right side and get my hands locked, and then
your hands were locked, were they?
I think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
and for the way of the angle, I've watched it. I think 230,000 of the 239,000 times. I just keep watching it. I love it. That poor guy. Oh my gosh! But yeah, when you stepped your right leg. When you stepped big, the first time I saw it, I said, "Oh, bless this guy's heart because he's going." But you threw your hips in, and it was amazing. And
Thanks.
the coolest part about it was Chael Sonnen was covering the match, right?
Yeah. That was
So
sweet.
so how was that after? Did you?
I actually didn't have a chance to meet him or chat with him. Just the way my parents came in for the flight, so my parents came in for the match, so we drove down together, and they had a flight to catch back to California. So like after the match, I stayed around and kind of like hung out and like talked to a lot of like kids and parents and stuff like that. And then I had to run into the shower, get there, and then they drove straight to the airport.
Okay.
So a little bit hurried, but yeah, I would have liked to chat with them, but it was cool. I don't know. I feel like especially with the rise of MMA, that it's really putting a good spotlight on wrestling and showing the value of it, and also creating some celebrity and good publicity. So
Yeah,
it's
hopefully.
really great to have these guys, come in and out of our sphere.
Yeah, especially with the wrestlers doing so good in the MMA. I think if we take some of the marketing tools that they have, that they have shown to succeed in the MMA world and just kind of translate those into the wrestling world, I think it would be great for us.
Yeah.
So currently you're at the Dave Schultz, is it Invitational? Is it Classic? What is
I
it?
think it's Memorial.
Memorial, yes it is. Sorry for that. So you are wrestling 74 kilos, right?
Right, yeah. I'm usually 70 kilos, but to be honest, I've just been kind of sick the past week and a half. I was a little stressed. This was big. Had the flow. I came back I was in in Vermont for 2 weeks. Then I came back to Chicago, had like 4 days to train, had the Flow Pro. Then I had like 3 days to train, and then I came out to here. So I was just a little run down. And then actually from here, I'm going straight to LA to train with Pico and Coach Klika for a week.
Really?
And then we're going to Cuba together for 2 weeks, and then back to Chicago. So I was just like, I'm kind of stressed. I need to not cut weight for a couple of days and just relax. And I'm still gonna wrestle hard tomorrow. And
Hold the phone. You're going to Cuba
yeah,
for 2
Really
weeks?
stoked.
That's my dream. Oh my gosh.
They're They're gonna open the borders. It might take another 5 years, but they're gonna do it eventually.
Yeah. Oh man, I watched. I'm a huge foodie, so Anthony Bourdain has a great show on Cuba, and oh man, I can't wait. Do you have an Instagram?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You'll have
Welch's
to post
Grapevine.
pictures. All right.
Check it out.
Yeah, absolutely, I will. And everybody else, make sure you check it out. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm jealous. So have you checked?
It's great training too. It's just like that is like I went last year too, and the tournament's really awesome. And the Cubans are amazing at wrestling. I got to wrestle this guy Garzone, who's just like has been a big guy for Cuba for a long time, and filling that next level, because it's one thing to wrestle guys at a certain level, and then you feel someone that's a level or two ahead of you, and it's like, wow, I have so much more work to do. That was my first experience, I think, in the past since I started doing senior level stuff, where I wrestled a guy who was a real head above me, where it's like, wow, I really need to start working my ass off again.
My old teammate Franklin Gomez, he won the NCAA championships at 133. He used to go to Cuba. He's Puerto Rican, but he used to go to Cuba to
Silver
train.
Medalist, last year, year before?
2011.
2011. Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, was it 20? Yeah, I think so.
20, yeah, I guess so, huh?
I'll have to look that up.
Either way, silver medalist.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's good. So have you seen the 65 kilo bracket for the Dave Schultz?
I haven't. I heard it's stacked, but I haven't looked through it yet.
Yeah, it is.
Tell me about it.
I just closed it actually. It's crazy. It's gonna be, and let's pull it up 1 second. Yeah, those guys, I feel bad for them. Their faces are gonna be bruised up.
They'll be scrapping tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully they came to wrestle. That's what I want to see. So you got Mario Mason, Montel Marion, Boris Novachkov, Mike Mangrum, Reese Humphrey, Zane Rutherford, Jason Chamberlain, Jordan Oliver, and then a bunch of international wrestlers that I'm not even going to try and pronounce their name, but
that's a stacked weight.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for that. Now I don't want to keep you too much longer. I know you have probably to get to bed, get ready for tomorrow. Last thing, you wrestled in the Flow Pro. You have Aegon coming up, correct?
Yep, that'll be April 4th at Carver Hawkeye against St. John.
I was gonna say, who are you wrestling?
So I'm ready. It's good. It'll be healthy for me to get a win over him, just to finish on the right page.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the style, the flow, is going to be with. Are you guys?
Yeah. And I believe we're doing just a straight freestyle match.
Is it straight freestyle? Okay, I think that's going to fit your style more than the folk style. So I think it'll be a great match. And when is that again?
April 4th.
Okay, April 4th. If you want to come back on the show and we could promote it some more, get some more fans out, not that Carver Hawkeye needs it, but we'd love to have you on. Can you tell everybody where they can follow you on social media? And
so I try to keep my social media updated all the time. It's Welch's Grapevine, just like the grape juice grapevine. And it's the same for Instagram and Twitter. And then Facebook is just Jason Welch, just me.
All right.
And yeah, I know I try to post a couple times a day.
Yeah, you do a great job.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Keep everyone updated.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck tomorrow. Hope everything turns out good, and I will update everybody on episode number 3 on how you did. That's been it for this episode. Thank you so much for being on. We really appreciate it. I can't thank you enough.
Awesome. Thanks, Eric.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Take care.
See ya.